Hi, this is Truman. Today I'm going to answer some of the questions from you about Gen Impact, myself, as well as personal investing. First question, what advice can you give to individuals who are interested in investing but don't know where to start? I think just use common sense to begin with. That's the first point I would like to highlight. Just pick a company or an ETF that you know about. A company can be a company that you use their product and services. It can be a Nike, it can be Adidas, it can be Apple. It can be something that very relatable to you and you know and you're quite familiar about what they do in general. And you don't need to necessarily know their financial performances, but just pick a company that you think you know about. Or an ETF that tracks the overall index like S&P 500 that will give you the exposure to basically the United States of America, which is not a bad place to start. Just try to be simple and don't overcomplicate things. And point number two is make it like a habit, make it monthly recurring. So whenever you get your salary paycheck, you just set aside, £10, £20, depending on how much you make. But it's something that you can feel very comfortable putting away. And even if you lose 100% of the money, you won't feel really bad about it. So just pick a level that fits to your personal circumstances and make it like a recurring habit every month, every quarter, or even every week. But as long as you just make it like a no-brainer, you don't think about it, set aside and forget about it, that is usually the best approach. And the third point is really about treating companies as if you own a piece of the business rather than betting day to day. It can go up today, it can go down tomorrow. Once you get to the latter, you will very quickly feel very exhausted. If you lose 10% on one day and gain another 5%, that will make you very emotional. You don't want any of that, but rather think about investing your money into the business as if you're a long-term shareholder and you own a part of the business. And next, where do we get the idea of Gen Impact from? Well, it's actually a very simple story, just circling back to my personal belief, which is not only people are able to invest, that is buy, sell securities very easily these days with the help of the commission-free brokers, but also they're able to, or they should be able to invest their money with confidence, ease, and a bit of fun. So how they invest companies, how they research companies, generate ideas, decide on whether a company is a good investment or not, to monitor their portfolio is something that is missing in the marketplace. A lot of people are just selling you a transaction service, and we think on top of that, a very important piece in terms of long-term investing puzzle is to be able to give you all the tools that it's easy to use, convenient to use, so that you can do all the research yourself within seconds or minutes rather than hours and days. And that easiness, that convenience is something that is missing. How do you think Gen Impact can help alleviate some people's fears or hesitancies when it comes to long-term investing? I think it's coming down to just the simplicity and the convenience. I think those are the two most important attributes. And also, whenever a product is successful or not, it can always trace this back to whether the product is adding value in a convenient and simplistic way. And when it comes to DIY investing, I think in the past, the traditional wisdom is that you have to have a lot of know-how about investing to be able to start investing, and also researching companies, picking investments, buying and selling, and how you can day trade. I think a lot of those are outdated. A lot of the kind of new wisdom or the modern era wisdom is how you can create some habits to invest recurrently on a long-term basis, and also buy something that you really know about, rather than listening to your friends and families who told you, oh, this is a great investment, you need to put in some money into it. You actually think and step back and think and ask the common sense questions, which is, are you buying something you know? Is this going to generate some long-term benefits or long-term wealth for your portfolios? So those are the common sense questions, and I think the app itself is able to tell people what they're actually investing in, give them the transparency and give them the know-how. So rather than spending in the past hours or even days or weeks trying to just get the data, we're now able to present everything in a very digestible format so that you don't need to do all the heavy lifting yourself. What first drew you to investing? I think it's just in general the curiosity about how things work. When I was very young, I like to just understand how business operates, how they make money, It doesn't matter it's a health company or consumer company or financials or a bank. So when I walk past different brands like KFC, McDonald's, I just ask the basic question, which is how they make money and how profitable those businesses can be. So those are the kind of early stage curiosities, and that pursuit of knowledge is what brings me to investing in general. What are you most excited about when starting work each morning? I think it's just building new things to the new customers. This constant pursuit of, first I need to realize the app or the product itself has flaws, it's not perfect, but that pursuit of building new things and giving that new product to the users is something that drives me every day, every morning. And I feel even today, after 2-3 years of doing this, I still feel very, very passionate, even more passionate than the start about what I do every day. What does a typical workday look like for you? I think the company is split into a few categories. The first is product, the second is marketing, and also the daily operations and the money side of things. So most of my day is spent on product marketing. Product is to speak with the developers, with the designers, and try to come up with either enhancements to the old products or the new ideas for the new products. Depending on day by day, sometimes it takes me 30% of the day to work on products. Sometimes it's 80-90%. So it really varies. But every day I will spend some time getting to know where we are on products, what are we going to work on next. And I myself do some designs as well. And so that keeps me informed about what we're up to when it comes to product. Now over to marketing, I work with the marketers, I work with the growth teams, and find out what are we going to work on, social media, content, emails, so all of these things, how we can use more user-led organic referrals, organic, inorganic. So those are the things I work on every day. And again, it varies day by day, but I say on a good day I will spend 30-40% at the very least to work on marketing stuff. But the two, marketing and product, really alternate. And apart from these two, some other areas are also important, but they are more like miscellaneous work that I do every day. For example, hiring team members, speaking with enterprise clients possibly. When it comes to fundraising, I need to speak with potential investors. So those are the kind of sideline jobs I do. They're not regular, they're not every day, but on an average basis, I say 90% of my day is spent on marketing and product. What sports or exercises do I do to stay active? I like to do a variety of them. So every 1 or 2 days I do a bit of exercise. So it can be a HIIT, high intensity interval training, or it can be a yoga, it can be Pilates. So it really depends, but I like to mix them all within the week. So on a 7-day week, I do probably 3-4 times. And it's quite important, as I said, to look after yourself when it comes to your physical well-being and mental well-being. No one else is going to look after you if you don't look after yourself. So and that's something I urge everyone, and especially those who are still working from home, to do more actively. That is, just spare more time, set aside more time, tell your team, tell your colleagues that this is my downtime, and use that time properly for yourself, because that will give you the recharge you need, that will refresh your mind and come back to work, and you can end up being more productive. What is the most important lesson that life has taught you so far? I think it's about staying positive and optimistic. I think that is the most important thing I've learned so far. It's very easy to become cynical or critical about something because we're surrounded by bad news every day. But over time, I think I'm becoming more accustomed to finding the good out of the potentially bad. So if there are like 10 news, 1 is good, 9 are bad, I almost focus on that 1 good news. Not that I want to be blindly optimistic, but I think the ability to focus on what really matters and to create something from the impossible is what I have taught myself to be more proactively thinking about. So it's just very easy to be negative these days, and I like to do the opposite. I like to stay positive. I like to listen to the good news. I like to chat with people who have good news to share. So that's something I think over all these years, something I just learned over time. I was very cynical, I was very critical when I was 18, 19 years old. But over time, I think I become more optimistic or more positive and believe that things are improvable. There's always something good down the road, and the good way to, or the most important way to get there, is to be positive and be cheerful along the way. What superpower do you wish you had? That is a very, very good question. I think when it comes to building a company, I think the superpower I wish to have is the ability to tell me if I'm doing the right thing or not. So rather than some objective superpowers like flying in the sky or climbing up the walls, what I like to do is to have this subjective but also objectiveness to tell me if I'm doing the right thing or not at the right time or not. And that is actually the most difficult thing that I found myself dealing with. You don't really have that feedback loop with your peers, with your colleagues, because you are all biased to some extent. You're almost looking for that God's voice. You want to be verified if you're doing the right thing or not at the right time or not. What are your plans for Journey Impact for the next 12 months? I think looking out to the next 12 months, the most important or the most exciting thing that we're looking forward to is to make the app more social. The long-term ambition of the app is to become the go-to place for people to conduct their research. And what that means is, if you can create a product that everyone loves to use and recommend their friends, that's only the step one. But also what keeps them around is the step two, that is to make the app almost like a hub for discussing new ideas, to talking with each other about your personal investments, and also just share that ideas is something that we look forward to building. So it's something that we're currently working on, internally testing for it. But I think hopefully in the next couple of weeks we're able to roll that out, and over the next 12 months it's going to be the top priority, which is to turn the app into a one person using the app alone into something that you have 10 different people bouncing off ideas and sharing ideas, and that's something that we look forward to building.